Okay, it is July 14th, Monday, 2025. Going to bring you the most updated Lake of the Ozarks fishing report. Like we told you, we'll kind of keep you updated as things change. So we're starting to change a little bit. We're getting more into, I'd say, a summer pattern. The water temp's up around 80, mid 80s right now, so it's getting warm. But there's still a lot of fish pretty shallow. We're catching them really shallow still, from right up on the bank, out to 6-8 foot. There's a lot of fish up in them areas. But then, of course, there's some moving out, starting to spread out a little bit, kind of relating more to brush piles, bigger brush piles, things like that. The bite's just been, I'd say, consistent, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Just steadily consistent. Obviously, some days are better than others, but pretty much every day we're catching fish. We're catching quite a few fish. Some days it's, just under keepers to 3-pounders, and a lot of shorts, which fills up the day, and it's a lot of fun. And the big ones, obviously, as we get into summer, they get a little tougher to catch. Obviously, you can still catch them. Early is your best bet to get out for those fish right now. We've been doing, our trips are mainly 6 to 10 in the morning. If it's cloudy or rainy or something, we'll extend it. We'll go a little longer. Or if there ain't a lot of boats on the water, because you can catch fish, throughout the day. There's certain patterns that we'll tell you about that. They don't even turn on until the sun gets up and the sun gets high, or maybe they don't run water or any current until 9, 10 o'clock. And once they kick it on, well, you can tell the fish, they move immediately and they start feeding a little different, and then you switch up patterns. So,
starting to see those big schools of shad too. Once that sun comes up, you can see them right below the surface. Big balls of them just kind of working.
And big hatches of shad, them little bitty ones, but we're seeing, 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches now too. And like she was saying, once they get out and they get in these big balls and they run either bluffs or out over main lake stuff, or even they go to the very backs and relate to the very backs of coves, which is also good for summertime. You can fish out main lake stuff early, and then once it gets rough, you can go to the backs and do some different things. So it's fishing's just still been really good. I guess the baits. What do you think your best bait is right now still?
Chapo, Topwater.
So it's summertime.
Topwater. You can still. Yeah, had a trip this morning, and from 6 to 10 we threw a chug bug and a Chapo on main lake, off main lake, a big chunk rock, and it was overcast, so we kept kind of checking, making sure that we were still getting bites and we were still getting fish, and at any point we were ready to change over to your Wacky rig setup if we needed to. But
so it's just the old school storm chug bug.
Yeah.
You can buy them anywhere. You can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them at Bass Pro, you can buy them at Fitz Fishing, Bryant's. You can buy them in any tackle store. Everybody's got the chug bug. It's just an old school popper, topwater bait. I will say a lot of times you can see here the back hook. I normally switch that hook up with a little better hook, with a little better feather fly on the back. I just like that better than the ones they come with. Like that's your standard one there. They look good and all, but they just don't last real long. So you can use them until they start coming apart, and then switch them up. But it's just an old school chug bug. Great for numbers. It'll catch big fish, but it is good for a lot of numbers. throw it on 10, 12-pound monofilament.
Cast it to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the action is wrist, and I'm right-handed, so typically when I talk to clients or I'm fishing myself, I typically go rod tip down towards the water, and I'm just flicking my wrist, just pop 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 right towards my left hip, and it feels very
Most
very
of the time, a steady retrieve works best. You want that thing to push the water, spray that water out, rattle, and move a little bit. You can stop it and pop it again. You just kind of vary your retrieve until you see what kind of mood they're in on any given day. So the Topwater, it's just a good bait all year. We throw the Topwater, we'll throw it on a light action bait caster, but we'll also throw a lot on spinning rod and reel setup. You know, we have a lot of rods out all the time, these bait casters, and rigged up on Falcons and things. But there's nothing wrong with bait casters. We use spinning rod and reel setup. Just get a decent quality one, and it can throw any bait we talk about here. If you don't get out a lot, and you don't get used to a bait caster, it's not a big deal. You just get you a good spinning rod and reel.
7 foot.
7 foot medium heavy usually works best. All the reels they're usually a little lower gear ratio, maybe 4 to 5. There may be a 6. It's not that big of a deal. We always spool it up with braid, 15, 20-pound braid, and then we put a leader on it. And the leader is just hooked to your braid. You tie it with just a couple cinch knots. And usually 10, 12 foot of leader, monofilament normally, and it works great for your Topwaters. It works great for Wacky rig, shaky heads, jigs. You can throw anything on spinning rod and reel.
That same setup.
That same setup. So don't think, if you don't get out and you don't fish a lot, don't go through the aggravation if you're not used to a bait caster. That's why we use them a lot on trips. They're very fisherman friendly. You can do anything with these that you can a bait caster when you use it a little bit. They're really good for skipping. You can skip shaky heads. You can skip wacky rigs up underneath these cables. If you mess up, it don't backlash on you.
Right.
It's just a good way to go out and enjoy fishing without maybe getting some aggravation with overruns or backlashes with a bait caster if you're not.
Especially if you're experimenting or just starting to maybe skip, under your cables and things. When you're trying to do something new, you want to make your setup as user friendly as.
Right, you want to be enjoyable and you want to have success. Until if you get time to practice with a bait caster, by all means, you can be a little more accurate. They're a little better. Sensitivity sometimes. Your reels maybe have a little better gear ratio, maybe cast a little better. But in general, you can do whatever you need to do with a spinning reel, So just keep that in mind. If you're new or getting into fishing, I would recommend getting a spinning reel and then maybe a bait caster if you want, and play with it and get used to it. It's all about getting used to it and just using it, So.
And typically bait casters, if you are new to throwing one or you're experimenting some, be careful not to put too much line on. I think if you
if you over spool it with line, it makes a huge difference. Even if I'm setting mine up for flipping, I'll put about a half, 3/4 of the spool's capacity on my reel, and it really helps tremendously if you're trying to learn to flip docks, and you're at close quarters and you're flipping. You don't need all that line on there, and if you spool it up half to 3/4 of the spool's capacity, you're going to get a lot better results flipping. Maybe if you hit the water or you don't skip like you want the bait to do, it's not going to override nowhere near as easy. So that is a good tip there. So That's our Topwater, of course.
Chapo.
The Chapo has been working real good. We talk about those a lot. She's got that black one that's about wore out. You can see that.
Oh yeah, the hooks have been running back here, back and forth, and oh yeah, it's lost a lot of its color, but that's okay. This is the go-to, and this is the big 120. Now I will tell you that there's a 90
This one here.
and a 70. Or a 105 maybe.
Yeah, here's a 105.
Smaller.
I've been throwing it. We threw it today. Caught some of it on it. It's kind of a bluegill pattern. A lot of bluegills are up against some of these riprap banks right now. There's a lot of moss. The lake's up, and it's been up, so there's a lot of moss growing on riprap banks and these bigger rocks. And then whenever that moss gets up there, everything goes up there and feeds. You know, I think the crawfish get up there, the bluegill, the shad, everything gets up there and feed, and that just brings your bass up there to feed on them. So this is the, you said 105?
I think it's 105.
105, and that's a 120.
This is a 120.
You know, it's a Topwater. This is a straight retrieve.
I think you're getting too big. Like this needs to be on a heavier.
Right, that's what
heavy.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
The 105 is about it for a spinning rod and reel a lot of times, so it doesn't overpower your rod and reel. But the 105 will catch just as big a fish as that 120 a lot of times. So, like she said, they've got a 90, a 75, a 90, a 105, and a 120. So, you know, on a spin rod and reel or lighter action rod and reel, just a little bit smaller bait. And these they work best if you throw almost parallel to the bank, right up, almost hitting them rocks, and then come out about, you know, a foot and a half and do it like that, you know, retrieve it, then come out maybe 3 foot and kind of vary your you know, distance off the bank and see where some of these fish are staging up and where they're feeding. Sometimes you got to run right along the rocks. Sometimes they're out 4 foot.
Yeah.
So you just kind of vary it until you start getting a few bites on top of it. And that goes for the chug bug, spook, Chapo, whopper plopper, buzz bait, same deal. You know, you just kind of vary it coming out. So, you know, the Topwater, as long as it's going to work, we're going to keep throwing it. It's a lot of fun. You know, we, like she said, we had a trip today. We had a big group trip out of, which I wanted to mention that, a big group trip out of PB2. It was the Dobbs Tire, I don't know, dealership, suppliers, what have you. You know, and they do it every year, and it's a really neat deal. It's just gets people. They build up relations. What I'm getting at is if you own a business or corporation, you have anything to do with it, these corporate fishing trips are just great. Team building, relationship building, good getaway, just something to you know, get all your employees or potential customers together in a boat, having fun on the lake. I mean, what more, you know, could you want? So obviously we do individual trips. We do, you know, 2-3 people in a boat, but we also do big corporate trips, and we have the means and the contacts to put together all the right guides for, you know, a corporate trip. We had 12 guides today. Everybody caught fish. Everybody had a good time. It's just a good deal. I just wanted to mention that about trips, corporate trips, if you have anything to do with corporation or big company.
Yeah, and it could be
whatever it is.
Even smaller resorts or smaller businesses, or you know, and we're even talking Kansas City, St. Louis, you know, come into the lake, you know, it's just it can just be a great way.
I think the guys they fish today, they're going to golf tomorrow. You know, they put together a few days. It's just a great deal. You know, get outdoors and have fun. So either way, enough of that. We'll get to the baits.
Just letting you know.
So
it's an option.
the shaky head's still working really good. She's got one tied on there, just a 1/4 ounce Crappie Gator Shaky Pro head. put you a mag finesse worm on it. You can put the full size mag trick worm on it, which is basically, it's just a bigger one. That's the mag finesse. This is the mag trick. It's the same worm, just longer. Sometimes they want that longer one. You know, same deal right now. You're just kind of in between docks. You know, obviously you can start on points. Points are always good. Go in the coves a little ways. Try to find right alongside docks. There's a lot of brush piles, and try to bring that thing, drag it around close to brush piles. If we're fishing in brush, right now we're fishing a Texas rig worm. You can see this is just a 1/4 or 3/8 ounce bullet weight. That's a tungsten one with a 5/0 wide gap Gamakatsu hook, and it's rigged on 15 or 17 pound test. And then just put a big worm on those and just drag it around and through your brush piles. Some days they're right in that brush piles, and the Texas rig is going to come through the brush piles a lot better. You know, a worm we've been throwing down here forever. It's just a Berkeley power bait, power worm. It's a 10-inch. This is black and blue fleck. Can't hardly beat that. You know, there's other colors. Tequila Sunrise. The other one, what's his name? This? Nope. Oh, it's on the rod. Here we go. So like this, on a Shaky head or Texas rig.
Oh, the AB worm.
This is the AB worm from Bait Cave. It moves a lot of water. It's got that ribbon tail. And this warm water, a lot of action, a lot of movement. You know, I've got that rigged on a 5/8 ounce Crappie Shaky Pro. And I like that one. Actually, the head, when I'm dragging rocks and stuff. If I'm going to get in the brush, you're going to want to throw a Texas rig. It's going to come through a lot better. You know, the brush piles are coming on pretty good, and they're only going to get better as we get deeper into summertime. A lot of fish just relate to brush. They feed around brush. They'll get, you know, right in the middle of it. They'll get on the outside. They'll get between it and the bank. Just anywhere around a brush pile or piece of structure in the summertime seems to be kind of key a lot of times, especially in the early mornings throughout the day. You know, you find one kind of isolated brush pile, it's going to be better most of the time than like a lot of brush. You know, a lot of fish, especially with live scope now, you can see it. You can see a lot of fish relating to that brush pile. If you got one single brush pile, isolated brush pile, there's going to be a lot more fish hanging around it. You know, so the big worms, a big jig like this, a 3/4 ounce football jig, crocodile football jig, and I got it rigged up with a full size brush hog on it. You can see it's a big bulky bait. Just throw it, and I like to just drag this one. I just like to drag along the bottom. It makes all kind of commotion, a lot of movement. You know, you might find a brush pile, work through that brush, bigger rocks, out off of main lake points. Just drag from, say, I don't know, 8-10 foot out to 30 foot until you get a bite or two. Try to hit them ledges and drop offs. That's good. It's good at night. It's good at day. It's just a big bulky bait, you know, for catching fish in the summertime. Yeah. Just like that big worm. A lot of times they just want a bigger bait for some reason. So, you know, that's kind of what we're throwing on the bottom. Some other baits here.
We need to talk about the Wacky rig.
I mean, the Wacky rig has still been, I'm going to say, probably the #1 bait. Yeah. Today, and in the last several weeks, especially today, something about today, they were on that Wacky rig today. I know the guy in 4 hours, I know they caught 30 fish if they didn't catch 40 fish. I mean, a lot of 14.5s, 14 3/4, but they caught several keepers too. So it's just a fun bait. It's a bait a lot like the Shaky head, if you just want a bait that you can throw out there, let it go to the bottom, twitch it every once in a while, reel it up 4 or 5 foot, let it sink, twitch it again. Super simple. The fish grab it, they pretty much hook themselves. It's just a super easy, extremely effective bait. And I think you could probably throw it 12 months of the year. I don't really throw it in the winter at all, but right now you can throw it on bluffs, you can throw it on points, you can throw it on dock braces, dock cables, corners of docks. There's nowhere you can't throw that and catch a fish right now. A lot of fish are up underneath these docks. This is probably the bait I was, when that sun gets up high and the bite gets tough, you're going to have to go out deep and drag a big worm or jig, or you can go fish docks and throw the Wacky rig around the shady corners of these docks, windy corners of the docks. If there's current, the current side of the dock, and you just throw it halfway down that dock, let it sink down about 3 or 4 foot and kind of twitch it. And you can see when you how she's got rig here. When you twitch it, it's got all kind of movement. It just looks like a live night crawler going down. These fish will come out from under. You can watch them. They can be 8, 10 foot underneath these docks. You drop that down there and twitch it, they'll come shooting out of there and hit the Wacky rig. And they hook themselves most of the time. So it's a really good bait to catch a lot of fish. And you'll catch some good ones too, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it catches big ones too. It catches everything. We even caught a catfish today. Caught a catfish on a main lake dock. Bunch of cables coming off of it, and they all kind of crisscross, and you can see the bass all hanging there. And we just throw that Wacky rig, watch it go down, get right above it and twitch it. Sometimes you just twitch it and they'll grab it. Sometimes you gotta almost reel it and twitch it, and that'll get them to commit and come after them. So the Wacky rig, I'm still gonna give it #1 bait. For right now, to catch numbers and potentially size. You know, if you're going for size, you may throw like a big worm or a big jig, or maybe the 120 Chapo. You're not going to catch near the fish, but if you catch them, they're liable to be bigger. So if you just come down and you want to catch a lot of fish, get you, what size weight is that?
1/8 ounce.
1/8 ounce.
Gamakatsu Wacky head.
Yeah, it's called a Wacky head, and it's they're made specially for it. They've got little bitty small weed guards on her. I'm not sure that's really necessary.
It's not. They typically break
and
off.
It's got a nice hook, and when the fish grab it, they pretty much a little tension, and they hook themselves. That's rigged up on the same deal. Yellow braid is really important for that with your leader. So when you throw it on that bait, if you're throwing to the bank, if you're throwing to docks, around a tree, lay down, whatever. Throw it straight to your target. When it hits, engage your reel and hold your rod tip straight up. Not straight up, about 45, 50 degree. And hold it right in line with where your bait's in the water. So you can watch that line. It's critical. And just hold it where you got just a little bit of sag in that line, and watch that line go down. And all you gotta do is pull that sag out each time and let it sink. And as it sinks down, you watch that line, and that line will just dart, or it takes off to the side. You don't miss the bite with that yellow braid. So
the yellow braid is
I'm just telling you, it's a super way of catching a lot of fish.
It's that visual piece.
A lot of
really
visual. It's a good teacher. It teaches you, jigs, any bottom bait. It really shows you how to. It enhances your visual detection of a bite. You know, a lot of times like clear line, green line, whatever, it'll blend in with the water. You don't see the bite like you do with braid and a leader. So just a real good tip. If you're fishing the bottom, I'd highly recommend the yellow braid and a leader to detect your bite and the sensitivity that the braid gives you with your...
Yeah, if I had only one bait that I could take out, it would be that Wacky rig setup.
Exactly. So another bait, I don't throw it a lot because it's kind of a hassle, but it will flat catch fish, and it's called a drop shot. We don't talk about it a lot, but it is an extremely popular bait. It's another very simple bait. It's kind of reversed. You've got your weight here. It's a drop shot weight. Hold it right there.
Sure.
It's a drop shot weight, and it's got just a little slot in it. You run your line in it, and you pull it up, and it pinches that line. So it holds that weight on there like that. And then you've got anywhere from a foot to 2 foot of line, and then you've got your hook. This is just a little number 1/0 hook right here, and this is just that little pink robo worm, one of the staples of drop shotting. You know, you can use any kind like a zoom, little trick worm. This is that robo worm right here. I mean, there's any kind of these little finesse worms, and it basically what it is, the weight hits the bottom. There's a couple ways you can throw it. You can throw it vertically over top of brush piles, let it sink down. This weight can go kind of down in that brush a little bit, and then you keep this worm just above it, and you're working that worm. You know, you're kind of bouncing it vertically. When a fish grabs it, you've got nothing between that and your rod tip. You feel the fish. It's real natural looking, natural presentation. You know, vertically jigging is the way you fish it a lot, but we fish it a lot just throwing it right to the bank, letting that weight hit the bottom and tightening up your line. So now you're like this on the bottom, and you can just drag it, and this weight's just going along. It's not going to get hung up, and your worm's up here just looking alive, like a live worm. It doesn't get hung up very often because the hook is up off of the bottom, so you're not going to get hung up. You can let it sink down, hit the bottom, just kind of drag it, hop it. It's a really effective way to catch, another way to catch fish, especially when it gets tough. In the hot middle of summer, you can catch them on this. Pretty good. And exact same setup we've been talking about, spin around reel, the braid, and then the leader. But this is, you can throw this alongside docks, points, bluffs. It doesn't matter. This is really effective anywhere. It's just another really easy way to catch fish. The only thing that's kind of aggravating is when you do catch a fish, it seems to wide up this line all around. It's kind of can be a hassle, but some days when it gets really tough, this is kind of a go-to bait.
And if you get hung up, typically what you do is you end up losing your.
Yeah, you might lose your weight.
And then you can.
Most of the time, this round weight rolls around these rocks, rolls over it. You can kind of go in, get a different angle on it, and it'll pop loose. So you don't lose very many of them. Right. They're pretty cheap. It's just a really effective bait to throw in the summertime and when it gets tough. Actually, this bait is used all year long, actually. But like right now, when it starts getting tougher in this next, I don't know, mid to late July through mid to August, sometimes you can get pretty tough out there. But this is just a good go-to bait to catch them. So that's probably it for bass. You know, right now there's obviously there's other baits. You know, the fluke, you can throw a fluke, a Zoom Super Fluke. I like the pearl because I like to see it. I like to work it to the throw it out there on 8-10 pound tests, maybe 12. Throw it past the corner of a dock, right up against the bank. And I like to, when it hits, I like to let it sink maybe 6 inches. And I like to twitch it really quick, get it darting around, get these fish's attention, and then maybe slow it down, maybe let it sink out of sight, twitch it back to the surface, let it sink down. It looks like a dying shad, like we were talking. We're starting to see a lot of shad out there right now. If you see big schools, you can throw it in the middle of it, let it sink down. But this is just a deadly bait to catch a lot of fish. Throw this a lot, you know. But for bass, I'd say that's about it right now. There's going to be some fish going to the backs. If they're not already there, maybe they stayed back there. When we get a lot of rain like this and these creeks get up and they get flowing, they're pushing in nutrients, they're pushing in crawfish, they're pushing in worms, they're pushing in everything in the backs. There's a lot of oxygen back there, and a lot of shad will go back there to feed on that stuff, but the bass will go back there too. Sometimes in the summertime, in the very shallows, where there's greenery in the plants in the water, that oxygen is a lot better, and they prefer that over maybe the cooler water sometimes. You know, if there's shad back there, the big key, if there's shad back in the very backs, then it's right for bass. Because if the shad are back there, that means the water is right. You know, we know shad are extremely sensitive. They die off easy. Oxygen, if you leave them in a bucket very long with no oxygen, they're dead. You know, if they heats up too much, they die really easy. But if the shad are in the backs, that means the water's right. It means it's got plenty nutrients, it's got plenty oxygen to hold them back there. And if they're back there, the bass will be back there too. So any of these baits we were talking about, the Wacky rig, the Shaky head is real good for in the backs. A jig, just a half-ounce jig, cracker jig, flip it in them stalls, empty boat slips alongside the docks, underneath the foam. You know, that's coming still, but I'm sure you can catch them back there now. So, you know, that's pretty much the bass, I would say. It's going to stay pretty consistent for the next month, I would say, what we're doing right now. But the crappie, you know, so we haven't talked a lot about crappie lately, but the crappie are starting to, they're getting in big bunches, big balls again, out underneath docks, around these shad balls that are along the bluffs, at the mouths of coves. There's big wads of crappie out there, and we're either throwing a crankbait, like a Bandit 300, Bandit 100, Bandit 200, 300. The Bandits, we're trolling those. This is that Glover lure, Glover Custom. That hot pink is a hot color down here, especially in the summer. I don't know why. There ain't nothing pink out there, but it gets their attention. These two are our prime trolling baits. Also, that Berkeley shad flicker works really good. It's got a real tight wobble. Some days they want that. You can either troll a rooster tail, like a half-ounce rooster tail, old school as you get right there. My dad used to troll rooster tails and catch whites, crappie, bass, you name it. It's called a rooster tail. It's just got like feathers on it. It's got one spinning blade on it, and it's got a treble hook in the back. Works great for trolling. So, you know, any of them for trolling crappie, just troll, experiment your depth of your crankbait. If you get one that goes down 8 foot, or maybe one that gets down there 17, 18 foot, and see where the crappie are. You want to get down just above their head or right with them. You don't, obviously, you get below them, you're not going to catch them, because the crappie aren't going to come down to chase your bait. They're going to chase it up most of the time, or if it comes through the wad, they'll grab it. So it's real critical to get that right depth when they're trolling to see, you know, where you can kill them. But right now, trolling is probably the best if you're in a boat. If you are on a dock, you're on a condo dock, a big cruiser dock, whatever, spoons. Your jigging spoons can be deadly, especially for crappie this time of year, especially these big condo docks. Like this is a War Eagle. This is a 7/8. They got halves, 7/8, 3/4. Can't really see that. Yeah, this is 7/8, but they've got different ones. This one here, I really like this. This is a half-ounce for crappie, and it looks just like a shad. This thing here, you can see that it looks just like a shad, and it's just a jerking spoon, super easy. You just take it on your rod and reel, let it drop. Go all the way to the bottom. As soon as it hits the bottom, pull it up so it don't get hung up, and then start popping it. You know, from the very bottom, couple pops, you know, maybe 2 to 4 foot jerks, let it flutter back down. Do that a few times, then reel it a few more feet, and do it again until you find that depth where they're at. And this can be deadly for crappie in the middle of the summer.
It's a half ounce.
This is a little half ounce. I call it a little crappie one.
Yeah.
The 3/4 works great. Just a silver. They've got, where's the other one? They've got a short, you know, that different chartreuse. Just the chrome works good, or just like I said, this crappie color. If you're fishing on condo docks, if you're going to drop a minnow down there, obviously that's going to be good. It's kind of hard to cast and reel inside crappie or inside condo dock or docks a lot of times. So you got your boat lifts, you got your boats, you got ropes. We always talk about these big cable wheels that hang down, that hold your big docks down in place. Just drop a spoon right down that cable and bring it up that cable, and you're going to catch them. So if you don't want to mess with the minnows, the spoon is the next best thing. Obviously, if you're in a boat, it's kind of hard. You can flip them spoons up over them the boat lifts over the bars and let it vertically go straight down and pull it up and catch some big crappie like that. So if you're looking for something else to mess with for crappie, your flutter spoons. I don't know, we used to always call them flutter spoons. I don't know what they call them now. I just still call them spoons. But, you know, it's just a great way to just catch a lot of fish, and you'll catch everything on spoons. Catfish, bass, crappie, you name it, you'll catch them on a spoon. So, and other than that, you know, that little Kitech, little 3-inch easy shiner, we still catch them on that. That's another bait. We'll just cast it and just go down the bank and cast it on any type of bank and catch just fish, you know. For the crappie, obviously the shady sides of the bank in these deeper slips, you can cast a big school if you see a big school. But, you know, that's really it for crappie right now. You know, it's you can catch them though. You can catch crappie right now. I don't think they're as good in the summer as they are in the winter for eating, but you know, you can still catch them, and they're still probably the best eating fish out there. You know, maybe a walleye. You know, you catch a 18-inch walleye, that's going to be your eater there. So, you know, other than that, man, that's about it, ain't it?
That's about it. Yeah.
About it right now. And that's kind of all we're doing. Like you said, if we can help you on a trip, if you're just moving to the lake and you want to get familiar with the lake, more about fishing it, running it, different patterns, different times of year. That's what we do. You know, so we can help you. Anything you have around fishing. If you're brand new, never fished, if you're experienced, if you're a tournament angler, whatever it is, if you want to learn a different bait, different lures, that's what we work on on a trip. If you just want to go out and catch fish and you don't care, well, we're going to go out and we're just going to catch fish. You know, so you know, other than that,
can I talk about this?
Yep.
I ordered these online. I'm sure through Facebook y'all have seen these, and I ordered them before I realized Fitz has them. 6 cents makes a bag just like this also. But I wanted to just mention I had like crates of plastics in my boat, and this has just it has really helped organize my boat. And I've taken all my plastics, I've got 3 of them, and I've got all my jig trailers in here, and they lay in here real nice. This it has a magnet and it velcros, and
it's got a label here. You can label
it.
Jig trailers, finesse worms, whatever, brush hog. Label it on it. It's a quality bag.
Great bag, and
you can see through it.
Yeah. It's just it's just something that I'm always trying to organize my boat. I think it's organized, and then I'm like, what can I do to make it better? And this is great. It does. And like I said,
What's the brand?
It's Live Fishing.
Live Fishing is the name of it.
And I think we ordered 4 and got 2 free. Is kind of what we had. But if you just want to order, get 1 or 2. Check out the 6 cents ones that Fixes has, and they'll get the job done too. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention.
It's a good way to organize.
It's gotta look,
I don't know if you guys like we are. We try to organize our boat to make your day fishing much more efficient while you're out there. You can't be scrambling looking for stuff when you're trying to fish. So it's just another way of keeping your boat organized. So one other thing I'll say about these Senkos is there's 2 models, and I don't care who makes it. Like this is the Bait Cave, the 5-inch swim sticks. They've got 6-inch ones. Yamamoto. Just to give you an idea of this, this is what today's trip. There's 4 bags. We went through 4 bags of Senkos today, but. We'll throw them bigger ones, but when that kind of slows down, they make a little 4-inch, and when it gets really tough, the little 4-inch Senko Wacky rig is extremely effective too. So, other than that, if you guys need anything down here, just shoot us a text, a call. I talk about wholesale batteries all the time. Obviously, they help me with my batteries on my boat. But you can't see it over here, I've got a 66 Ford tractor over here, totally restored tractor, and I was having trouble finding a side terminal battery for it. I called them guys up there at Wholesale Batteries. They actually looked up and found the factory size and sent me a battery with the right terminals and everything for my tractor. I mean, so it's just not boat stuff. If you name it, any type of battery for anything at all, Wholesale Batteries can help you with that. So there's one in Kansas City, one in St. Louis. Just look them up on the internet. Call them guys and tell them what you got. If you have issues or problem, or you're in the market for a different type of battery or new battery, just call them, tell them what you're doing, and they're going to lead you in the right direction and tell you, what you're going to need, so you don't maybe overspend, or overpower a boat or something, or underpower it. They're going to sell you. They're going to give you what you need and lead you in the right direction, which is really important. I know batteries can get pretty expensive nowadays. So either way, any battery issues or problems or needs, get a wholesale batteries. Sport World Boat Center down here at Hurricane Neck Bridge. I know the market's kind of slow, it seems like. But every time we go down there, they're selling boats. So it must mean something. All of our boats for the last 20 years have come through Sport World. Every one of our boats have come through Sport World Boat Center. They rig them, they repair them, they do the maintenance on them.
They have a lemonade stand.
Whatever, they deal with it at Sport World. They fish. They know the ins and outs of fishing. So that helps if you're a fisherman in there. Right. Either way, any issues with boats in the market for a new one, a used one, repairs, go see Gary and the boys at Sport World. So other than that, it's hot in here. We're going down to the house. So until next time, folks, appreciate you watching. The comments, more comments. The more comments, the better, so we can respond or give you more info on whatever it is. Share it, share the webpage, tell people about the webpage. If you're coming to the Ozarks, we want you to be able to tune in to the YouTube channel and listen to this video, and then come down and buy only what you need and get out there and catch fish. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.